This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, so I don't want anyone to panic, okay? Because I'm going to be thanking parrots for coming here and doing this, and the balabosses will say, "It's Thursday night." No. Relax. It's just Monday. Okay, so let me just tell you that I don't have the Shir in Landers, but the Bachrim wanted the Shir, so I'm zooming from my office, and Peretz was kind enough to come and do the camera. So you don't have to panic. It is not Thursday night, okay? Please catch your breath again. Don't worry, Pesach is in a while. Hello, Ari's brother. Okay, never met Ari's brother before. Okay, so thank you very much. He ran away. Don't run away. Okay, so I want to tell you that this Shir tonight, over here, is in the schus of several people. It's in the schus that parents came Pesach night to give the shir. It's also in the schus of Ari and the Bachrim Midlanders. Unbelievable. They just want to share. There's just a lot of Torah going on over there. And it is also very, very much in the schus of my Zayin Gesundheit Stark, my Schwieger. You're wondering what my Schwieger and Peretz and Ari have in common, right? Question. So let me tell you very simply. My Schwieger said, no shir tonight? How could you do that? Where do you take the achrayas that there's no shir? So I said, speak to your daughter. It's Pesach night. And her daughter said that I help by going to give a shir. That's how I help. Right? Because you all know the oldest joke in the book, right? She sends the husband out and says, you know how you're going to help me? Just leave, right? And comes back after a half hour. Why are you back so soon? There's a shir time which I can help. So, okay, so now there's a shir. I help through the shir. You see? Got it? Pun? Okay, never mind. That wasn't the one. Al Kapanim. So thank you everyone for being here tonight. Bez Hashem Yisbrachas, the countdown to our day of Geula is coming quickly. I want to share with you a Moyer de Gevart that I heard from my friend Fischel, a Geval de Gevart. Listen to this, parrots. I don't think I've ever said it before. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery. And today is a gift. And because today is a gift, that's why today is called presents. Ever heard that? No. There we go. See? Nachamu. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why today is called the present. Let me try to be mevayir that a little bit. So one of the few things I do at home for Pesach is I offer. I offer to help for Pesach. I offer. But then they remind me what went wrong last year, and so I wind up in my office giving a shir. Okay, anyway, so let me tell you, one of the few things I do for Pesach is I have this bin in the bottom of the Svarim Shank, where when the mail comes and I'm told, can you please sort it out? I said, enough time now. Don't throw that out. Don't throw that out. Just put it in the bin. I'll sort it out later. I'll figure out the bills and this and that. So it goes into a bin that I'm going to sort out later. That bin that I sort out later gets full. It overflows. And we have a second bin. Overflows. There's a third bin. So it comes before Pesach. Then I'm told, no. There's no tomorrow anymore. You sort this bin out now. That's not the way it says. Please sort this bin out. So here I am. I'm going through all the papers. And it goes straight into a large garbage can. And I separate, basically, when I sort out my papers, what I'm doing is as follows. I separate the garbage from the other papers that I'm going to sort out next Pesach. So, and this year I was extremely organized. I had one garbage can, the other kind of garbage can. And I found a letter. I found a letter in my bin, and the letter said like this, that if you don't call in to reserve your seat in shul for this Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, you will not have your seat. I said, I missed the deadline. Then I looked at it. It wasn't even for this past Rosh Hashanah. It was for 2 Rosh Hashanahs ago. This is one of my, that I sorted to sort. And I said, I had my seat Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur anyway. I paid for it. But I had my seat. Okay. Now, so I came to the conclusion as follows. I don't have a very good source for this, but I think this is very true. Paris, if you disagree, please feel free to tell me. In Shemayim, there's a big bin. There's a big box. And there's a lot of stuff there that if the Kosh Baruch Hu would send it to us, we're going to go, oh no! You know what Kosh Baruch Hu does? Keeps a lot of the papers in the bin. We don't even know about it. I didn't even know about this threat from my shul, that if I don't call in, I'm going to lose my seat. So there's a lot of such things. But in Shemayim, they look at us like this. You're happy? You have no tightness on your life, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you avoid saying, I've had it. Or no, that's the last time you're going to get away with it. No, you don't do that. Whatever it is, okay? Then the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you know what, don't send him the letter, leave it here. Yeah, but he has to know he's going to lose his seat in the shul. Won't lose his seat in the shul, don't worry about it. A lot of other things in that bin that every once in a while you get a letter in the mail. Oh no, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu says there's 1,000 letters that I didn't send you. Right? And after 120, when I come up to Shemayim, and they're going to take out this huge bin from under the Sfarim Shank, and they're going to show you all the letters that you could have taken care of for later, but we spared you. We spared you, and you had your seat anyway. So what are you going to say? So it's good to procrastinate, it's good to push things off. Somebody said the road to Gehenna is paved with good intentions. No, I'm saying something else. I'm saying Ein Balanes Makir B'Nisai. A lot of nisim happen to us. We every time a person has a pachad, every time we're scared of something, that's Me'an Shemayim. There's a big hashgacha for that. And the kapara and the fear takes off a lot. There's hashgacha. I forgot who it says from one of the tzaddikim, trying to think who it was, that when you work in Pesach, and just know there's a certain amount of hard work you're going to have to do all year. And most of us would much rather have the physical hard work than emotional pressure. So you're up night cleaning for Pesach, if you're makabelit b'yahava, that's deducting other pachad, other nights that you may have to be up. You don't lose by this. So now, so what does that mean? We're not responsible for things? There's a lot of green lights in Shemayim. There's a lot of bypass. You know what I mean? It says the Eibishter treats different people differently. That's not fair. No, they have to be worthy of being treated differently. Right? It says, you treated Klal Yisrael differently. So what does Hashem say? Klal Yisrael doesn't deserve to be treated differently. I told them they only have to bench to eat a kadeya, the size of an egg. And they bench even if they eat the size of a kazayas. Big deal. You know what I mean? So I benched even though I ate the size of a kazayas. I don't remember eating just one kazayas, so I don't remember fulfilling this, but that's why we deserve special treatment. What does that mean? Well, we deserve special treatment. This is the ultimate Mesiras Nefesh. Hashem said you only have to bench if you eat a size of an egg of bread. And we're such tzaddikim. We bench even with a kazayas. What does that mean? You know what it means, I think, says the Chassam Sofer? It means that a kabeya fills you up. And a kazayas is like, still hungry and there's nothing left. Hashem, thank you for what you gave me. That's what it means. And for that, you deserve extra treatment. When you want a kabeya and all you get is a kazayas. And that is not true just for food. It's true for shalom bayis. It's true for everything else in the world that we crave for and we want. We're not asking. I'm not asking for a ton. I'm asking for a kabeya, and all I got is a kazayas. And I could say, I never get what I need. Or you can say, thank you, Hashem, for the kazayas. And when you say thank you, Hashem, for the kazayas, whether it's the amount of love that you need, admiration that you need, sipul kachayim, whatever it is, okay, you gave me a kazayas, I'm focusing on the kazayas. Hashem says you deserve preferential treatment. So let me give you an example. It says, I'm a couple of old Torah, you're makabel upon yourself the yoke of Torah, mavir mimenu al malchus v'ol derech eretz. Right? So here we have Peretz, the night of I can't imagine what's going on in your house that night of Pesach, because Peretz does help, I know for a fact. No, not true. I'm wrong. Got wrong information. I did. Okay. Peretz does help, and he's here. He's here doing the shir. That's called being makabel upon himself, ol Torah. Mavir mimenu al malchus v'ol derech eretz. Rav Moshe was drafted into the army. Rabbi Yaakov was there together with Rav Moshe. The two of them were like, Rabbi Yaakov and Moshe, I think, had a combined height of 6 feet. And they say, you can imagine what the Polish army looked like that we were there. And he said, I think it was a story of Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Moshe, who wasn't. They were both like, they had to do target practice on Shabbos.
The guns, right?
Sorry?
With the guns.
The guns. It was Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Moshe. They had to do target practice. Was Rabbi Yaakov the Stipler? Stipler, Rabbi Yaakov?
I don't remember who it was. I think the Stipler was the one who shot it upside down.
Right. It was Rabbi Yaakov. I don't remember who it was.
I don't remember.
No, it was Rabbi Yaakov. They were both in the army. Anyway, so Lamaisa, they had to do target practice on Shabbos. So there's a machlokes. So the Stipler was holding his gun upside down, something like that. and no, not with the thing pointing his way. Meaning to say, this way. You know what I mean? And so he said, at least with a shinny, you're not chayiv on Shabbos if you shoot with a shinny, if you shoot with it upside down. So, and the other one said maybe if you shoot, I forgot who it was. It was Rabbi Yaakov. I think Rabbi Yaakov Tained that if he shoots straight, he only has to, because he had to shoot till he got the target, till he got the bullseye. So if he holds it straight, he'll only have to shoot once. He can hold it upside down, you have to shoot 10 times till you get to it. The Stipler held he's going to try. And Rabbi Yaakov said, no, I'm going to shoot straight. So what did Rabbi Yaakov say at the end? At the end, he shot straight, and he had to shoot a few times till he got the bullseye, and the Stipler shot upside down. So either way, you can imagine how the Polish army did with, had the Stipler and Rabbi Yaakov with the Stipler holding his gun upside down. So you can imagine, they didn't get very far. But Al Klapana, what I mean to bring out is, what do I want to bring out? Yes. So Rav Moshe was drafted into the army, and he came to the Chavetz Chaim. And the Chavetz Chaim said, Kol HaMakabel of Ol Torah, Mavirin Mimenu Ol Malchus Ol Derech Eretz. So Rav Moshe said, I was already drafted. So the Chavetz Chaim said, Kol HaMakabel of Ol Torah, Mavirin Mimenu. It means even if you already have the oil, Hashem takes it away from you. So Hashem takes a lot of those letters that threaten us, and we get those letters and go, oh no, I missed the deadline. Oh no, I have to do this by tomorrow. And Hashem keeps it in the bin. So for example, it says, Kol HaMezakas HaRabim Ein Chet Ba'al Yodai. That Hashem holds things back. I'm just giving you examples of bypass. Right? The Mishnah Berurah says, if you say Shira, every morning you say Az Yoshi with a Simcha, Davish is Michael, you're theirs. So a lot of the tikkunim you would need through problems, it stays in the bin. Loads of the letters stay in the bin. So here's the shaila. What is the din with this Friday? Is it Erev Pesach or is it not Erev Pesach? So on the one hand, we burn the chametz dafka.
Erev Pesach Meshulish.
It's Erev Pesach Meshulish. Oh, good vart. Because it's Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos. Right. Never thought of that. Erev Pesach Meshulish. Wow. And even we in Chutz La'aretz got it. That's amazing. So we burn the chametz before the Zman, even though there's no real Zman. But we burn the chametz. Do we eat chametz after? What happens this Friday? Do we eat chametz after we burn the chametz? Yeah. You eat the challah Friday night or Shabbos morning. But some people admitting they don't eat chametz on Friday, besides the challah. So you shouldn't confuse it with next year.
Is that a minhag? Is that just what the wives say to them?
It could be. Could be both. Could be the wives made that minhag. I don't know. But I don't know what the makar minhag is.
They say there's a lot of minhagim that they say this whole true because you shouldn't be confused next year.
Shouldn't be confused with next year, with this year. Well, that's why we burn the chametz before the Zman. There's no Zman. That's why we're burning the chametz before the Zman.
Extends to the other minhagim as well.
Okay.
Other things as well.
When I was a kid, they didn't move. You remember when we were a kid? They didn't move the clock till after Pesach. That's right. So
they're moving you like on Thursday or something.
It's still before Pesach. And that meant that we would have to wake up Shabbos morning, like 5 o'clock, right? What time is Schachter in Tarvadas Paris?
6:45.
6:45. Okay. So no one in the Klozim Garav moves the clock. So the guy when they moved it back an hour at the beginning of fall, not 2 o'clock in the morning. The next day, say we're not moving the clock yet. Say there was from 9 till 1. Came 1 o'clock, the boys got up for lunch. The Rebbe said, now we're moving back the clock an hour, okay? And I want to tell you something. What happens in life, a lot of times you want to be in one place, and all of a sudden we find that we have to wait much longer. So Hashem is saying, now I'm moving back the clock an hour. Okay, so I heard from Davina Rav of Halpert, Amari the Gavart, and I thank Rabbi Reuben over here for telling me that Vart. It's a beautiful Vart. Normally, on Erev Pesach, we do not say Mizmor L'Soida. Why do we not say Mizmor L'Soida on Erev Pesach? What Ari's brother? What is Ari's brother's name? Tzvi? Tzvi, how come normally we don't say Mizmor L'Soida on Erev Pesach? Tzvi, go ahead.
You don't bring a carbon on Erev Pesach.
Right, and the reason we don't bring a carbon to Erev Pesach is because you have because you have a day, you have to have the chametz, and you have a day and a half to eat it. And aim neviim kachim lebeis absul. Right, you never bring kachim if you don't have the full time to eat it. Out of concern, you won't eat it on time, and therefore, so normally in Erev Pesach we do not bring a carbon taida, but this year on Erev Pesach we are going to be saying Mizmor L'Soida because it's not really Yud Daled, it's really Yud Gimel, and on Yud Gimel they did bring a carbon taida. Not only did they bring a carbon taida on Yud Gimel, but actually on Yud Gimel there was a big backup of carbon taidas because everybody had to bring their carbon taida on Yud Gimel. Now, when do you bring a carbon taida? One of the four things, which is what? Either you went through a midbar and you came through the other side, or you went through a Pesach, cleaning a Pesach. No, that's not one of them. Okay. You went through a water, prison, came out of prison, went through a water, or went through a sickness, being carbon titus. So all these people are lined up to being carbon titus, and the deadline is Yud Gimel. So there was a tremendous amount of carbon titus normally on Yud Gimel. So much so the Gemara says in Masechtas Pesachim that they took some of the, not everybody got it in, was able to eat it in time, and they took the pasala to chalis to come along with the carbon titus. What did they do with it? They put it al gag ha'itstava. They put it up very high on the base of Mikdash, and that was the sign. When you saw both of them, right, you knew that you could still eat chametz. When they took off one, is that what the Mishnah says? Am I getting it right? They took off one, the chametz was mutter aser bechilas al mutter bano. When they took off two, they knew it was gone. Right. The other simmer was that there were two cows that were plowing on Har Zeisim. When one stopped, they knew that it was iser chilas al mutter bano. When both stopped, so there is an inyan of Yud Gimel and the carbon taida. As a matter of fact, somebody pointed out to me that in Masechtas Pesachim, this sugya of putting up the two carbon taidas, al-gakrit stav, is on Daf Yud Gimel. So, it was there ever a time, that really, when everyone thinks about last Pesach, right? Think about last Pesach. Think about the situation where we were last Pesach. Last Pesach, parents also came. Parents at Moshe Sofer also came to my house to do it, but they came with masks and gloves and all sorts of things. Now, Baruch Hashem, right? Whatever. So, but we're here. We're here. Shouldn't everybody have to bring carbon taida? Really, everybody in the world that's still around should have to bring carbon taida. And a lot of people are suffering and hurting. But the you're here, you should bring carbon taida. So Yud Gimel is the time for carbon taida. So is it by Hashgacha that the Eibishter arranged that this Erev Pesach, or factual Erev Pesach, or acting Erev Pesach, we dafka should say Mizmal L'Saida? And how much kavanah should you have by Mizmal L'Saida? The Mechaber says you're supposed to sing Mizmal L'Saida. So basically, we want to thank Hashem. And I saw that in the Minchas Yitzchak Mishnayos, he brings that's the inyan that they put the carbon taida al gagri tzava to show when the Zman Chametz is. Because if we really, really had a Shevach, if we really thanked Hashem for the Gazayas, if we really thanked Hashem for life, then the Geula would be here. And then the Lashon Haba Yishlayim, that's where they use the carbon taida. Then Pesach would be here. And that was also the simon of the two cows plowing on Har Zeisim, because if we really had the carbon taida, if we really thanked Hashem, all the Tchias HaMesim, you'll be able to plow on Har Zeisim. That, and by the way, Peretz did a lot for Har Zeisim. Peretz has been Meiser Nevish himself to keep the Kedusha of Har Zeisim going. So here, we have it right over here. So, what is the first mitzvah that a bar mitzvah boy has? Tzvi, when were you bar mitzvah?
Last year.
Last year. Oh, so it's pretty fresh in your memory, right? Right. Ari's goes back a while, right? Peretz was a mitzvah 2 years ago, so it's hard to remember. Yeah. What is the first? Is you Marav? You say the first mitzvah you have is Marav. First, the Rai says Shema for Marav. What do you say, Ari? What's the first bar mitzvah? What's the first mitzvah that a bar mitzvah boy has? Besides opening the presents, yes. What's the first?
You could eat something and then you
eat something. Berachas Hamazon. What? Kibbut Aveim. Some say Kibbut Aveim. Right.
Because the parents are telling him to smile for the pictures.
Parents telling him to smile for the pictures. Right. Very, very good. Smile to Aunt Blanche, who came from Atlanta, and Atlanta, you keep smiling. Right. So the Chassam Sofer says, you know what the very first mitzvah is? There's even a shaila with the limit Torah. Some say limit Torah. There's even a shaila with Berachas Torah. Right. If he was yotze the Berachas Torah from the morning, it says he should have in mind by have a Solam at night to be yotze Berachas Torah. So the Chassam Sofer says that the first mitzvah that a bar mitzvah boy has is simcha sachayim, just to be happy with life. Thank Hashem for what I have. Take a moment and thank Hashem for what I have. So, Ar La Ba'asa, the night of the 14th, Bait K'nes HaChametz, we check out the Chametz La'ar Haner. It says a Shlach Kodesh, that's a remez to the night of the bar mitzvah. Ar La Ba'asa means coming into your 14th year of life. Bait K'nes HaChametz La'ar Haner. Ar Haner refers to the neshama. The Gemara says Ar is neshama. Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam. And when you get bar mitzvah, you have a new neshama. You don't remember, but it was a while ago. But Tzvi remembers, right? You remember you got a new neshama for your bar mitzvah. The Reb Shin Bar Yochai, the Zohar says, made a big suda on the day that his son had a bar mitzvah. The Magen Avraham says it's like the day of the chasana. Once for a good word, you know why it's like the day of the chasana? When you don't pick your mate for your bar mitzvah, right? It's just God decided when your bar mitzvah. You don't pick the date. You don't pick nothing. It's Hashem decided it. So by chasana, you think you picked the one you wanted to marry. You think you picked the date. It's also like Hashem decided when you're getting married, with who you're getting married. That's also nishmak. That's just like a chasana. But be it as it may be, so Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said he made a tremendous suda for his bar mitzvah. So they asked Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, "What's the tremendous suda for?" So he said, "My son was born. I just got a son. My son was born 13 years ago. No, now he got his neshama." So what does it mean? He wasn't alive for 13 years? I mean, now he got his neshama. He was alive for 13 years. He got, if he was 12, when you're 12 years old, you still got the stimulus check for that kid, right? Still got it. It was a tax return for he was a legitimate tax credit on his tax return, right? That's the way it is. You know, everyone's like very proud of their kids now with the stimulus checks. Because the more kids you have, the more stimulus checks you get. You know, somebody went over to someone on Shabbos and he said to him, "How many kids do you have?" And the man said, "Nisha Shabbos Geret." We don't talk about that on Shabbos. Because right now, whenever you ask someone how many kids you have, he's thinking about his stimulus check. You know what I mean? I had a place that some guy was buying mikveh. The guy put up the sign for the mikveh prices. So he wrote like this. He said, "Koil Ingalite, $50 a month." Because you all got stimulus checks. And you got checks for all your kids. Ashirin, $30 a month. Those that work for a living, never $2 a month, because you got nothing. You know what I mean? That's how it is. You understand? Just think of, you have to give meiser from the stimulus checks. You should give meiser to the ashirim. They never aren't having. Okay. So what do you mean? Who was he before he was alive? Who was he? Somebody once said like this: there's 4G, right? There's a 4G phone. There's 5G. There's even 6G phone. No, not yet. There's no 6G yet.
They're working on it.
They're working on it. I have a sample. No. There's 4G. There's 3G. There's 2G. What was before 1G? That was before the Common Era. They say BC. That meant before. Right.
Before Corona.
Before Corona. Before 1G. All right. And the answer is that no, but when you become bar mitzvah, there's a new neshama. There's a reset on your life. Whatever you were as a kid, there's a reset on your life. Things start again. Every year, Pesach, there's a reset on our lives. There's a natural reset. And just like very often in the course of our lives, it's oisei makam, oisei es, oisei isha. The Rambam says, in order to do tshuva, you have to be in the same place, you have to be in the same time, and it has to be with the same woman. Meaning to say, all the aspects of what the Aveira was. And very often we come down to this world, and the Kotzker said, Yemeshin Eseni B'Hem Shid Mishana, we can live 70 years to get back to the same place. So on Pesach, we go straight to go. Whereas Hashem says, oh no, you blew it. I have to recreate the Nisayan again for you to have the test. Oisei makam, oisei es, oisei isha, same place, same person, same woman, meaning to say all the factors of the Nisayan. Instead of having to wait 3 months to come around to it, Pesach, Hashem says, go straight to go. It's a reset in our lives. It's equivalent to getting a new neshama. Why is it called Shabbos HaGadol? Because a bar mitzvah boy becomes a Gadol, right? And that's why it says the Chidush Shirim, it's called Shabbos HaGadol. This Shabbos, we're getting bar mitzvah. All demand and aliyah. We're getting them. The Zohar HaKadosh even says, when you turn 13, you get the Chelik HaNefesh. Ani Ayoim Yiladaticha refers to the day of your bar mitzvah. When you turn 20, you get the Chelik HaRuach. So by Yitzias Mitzrayim, we all got the Chelik HaNefesh. By Kabbalah Satara, we got the Chelik of Ruach. So be it as it may be. Okay? The Rebbeinu Shem has your number this Pesach. So I was just thinking, I'm going to wrap things up over here. So China is they stopped using Tesla self-driving cars. Did you hear this? Because they're saying all those, you heard that, Ari? Mm-hmm. See, I don't make it up, parents. You see, all those mirrors and all those sensors, they said the government's using that to spy on us. So they said, no more self-driving cars, no more self-driving cars. They're not just can't, right? And what's his name? The Rosh Hashiva of Tesla, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, right? He said, "What? We would never do that. We would never use our cameras. We would never use our cameras." He says that's a terrible accusation. That's as bad as the American accusation on TikTok. That's what he said. Very lumdish, analogy over there. Okay, so think about this, right? So the cameras really are on the car, right? The cameras are telling the car where to go, where to stop. Because Baruch Hu has the cameras on us. And because Baruch Hu says, I'm looking, you know where to go, where do you stop. So I heard from Rabbi Finkelman, Amari de Gavart, maybe you heard it from Ari, because you were in Rabbi Finkelman's yeshiva, but he met a Yid once that came and he survived Siberia. And he said, you know how he survived? You're close to Rabbi Finkelman, right? So how did you survive Siberia? So he said when he was a kid, Chavetz Chaim came to his town to sell svarim. Chavetz Chaim came to his town to sell svarim, and he was there for a week or two till he sold his svarim. Imagine Chavetz Chaim standing in the back of the shul selling svarim, right? And he met this little boy, and he said, what are you doing? You're just wandering around. He says he doesn't have a cheder, he doesn't have whatever. So the Chavetz Chaim said to him, I'll learn with you an hour a day. All right? This man in the back, short little man at the end back, said, I'll learn with you an hour a day. And he says the Chavetz Chaim learned with him for 3 months. An hour, a half hour halacha, and a half hour sipurei tzadikim. Half hour he told him stories. He said later when he was in Siberia, he closed his eyes, thought about those sipurei tzadikim, and that's what kept him going. That's what kept him alive. That's what kept him going. He said he had a tillim. They took the tillim away from him. He said he was going on a hunger strike. They gave the tillim back to him. They said those two things, the tillim, that's what kept him alive. So, in other words, I think the pell of this story is, this Chavetz Chaim is here selling his svarim, and it's bad enough you have to go around selling his svarim. You see a little kid, I have to give him free tutoring for an hour a day. Right? Who would do that today? And telling him sipurei tzadikim, I say stories to a lot of kids. You do everything perfectly. That's right. Do you realize what we're doing? You realize who you're saving from Siberia? You realize how Kadosh Baruch Hu? So the Chedush Yerim said, why is the Rosh and the Chacham right next to each other in the Agada? Because the Chacham neutralizes the Rosh. If the Chacham wasn't next to the Rosh, we would be finished. So Be'emes, the Chedush Yerim says a tifer of art, really. He says that the Daled Banim is really within us. Part of us is a Chacham. There are times we're a Rosh, times we're stumped, we're Sheni Day Lishal. It all comes to a birrer. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no, you're all sitting by the table, the Rosh and the Chacham. Because the Yetzirah says, after what you had in your mind yesterday, after what you did, after what you blew it, that Lashon Hara that you said, as terrible as it is, what you looked at, forget it, you're coming to the Seder. The Rosh and, you must do tshuva, but the Rosh and the Chacham come to the Seder. Hashem wants it all together. Work it out. Don't stop. Don't stop. So the Gemara says in Brachas, Rebbe Eliezer was very sick, and Rabbi Yechon came to him. Rabbi Eliezer was about to die and pass away. Rabbi Yechon said to him, why are you crying? Are you crying because you never reached financial wealth? It's not a reason to cry. What was the happening? You think Rabbi Eliezer? Rabbi Kiva's Rebbe? Rabbi Eliezer, who moved around the whole Beis Medrash, right? All the Nisim happened to him. He was crying because he didn't have enough money in the bank before he died. So Rav Moshe says that maybe he felt, my heshpah was limited because I never had the money. And people had to support me. Imagine if I would have had money, how much more so I could have accomplished on this world. And Rabbi Yochanan said to him, maybe you didn't have money because people had to support you, and that was their schus to live. Maybe you didn't have money because you had to go around sell your svarim and learn with a kid for an hour. And we ask Hashem, why? Why do I have to come on to other people? And Hashem says, maybe because other people need you. You don't know what Kadosh Baruch Hu's cheshbon, right? The Tesla cameras are on you. So it says, Eina bracha shayra ela b'davar hasamui min ha'ayin. Only are things that are hidden from the eye. Why? Because if I open up my big window shades and let everyone see, I just read it in my house, they're going to be jealous. And I cause them to be jealous, and Memela, that's going to have a negative effect on me. That's going to cause me tsaris. As I state. Eina bracha shayra ela b'davar hasamui min ha'ayin. So it goes further. That sometimes I don't see the bracha in my life. Like Hashem, where am I? I'm trying so hard. Where's the bracha in my life? Sometimes the bracha won't be chal unless you don't see it. That you have to go through the Nisayan. You have to go through the Nisayan. Everyone knows that Kedushas Levi unhitched the horses, right? He unhitched the horses. He said, Mayim Shalanu, I got to do it myself. And he was so excited by the water, he fell into the well. It wasn't always that way. It says that Kedushas Levi, my father used to share with me a story. He promised someone a bracha. The Shemaim, they were upset. He had no right to promise him. They took away all his madregas. He said for a year he struggled to daven and struggled to learn. He said that was the most chashuv year of his life. Without madregas. Slowly. Rabbi Meir Schachter once told me, he said the Churban Adar is, we read all these stories and we're waiting to be so inflamed and so geschmack to fall into the bear. You don't have to fall into the bear. You got to believe that the deficiencies and the problems in my life is all part of it. So let me share with you this last story. Okay, there's a Yid. His name is... I wrote it down. Give me a sec. Yeah, Rav Menachem Mendel Holzer. Who's Rav Menachem Mendel Holzer? You ever heard of Rav Menachem Mendel Holzer? You ever heard of him now? So this man shows up. He goes, who's Rav Menachem Mendel Holzer? You don't know who Rav Menachem Mendel Holzer is? You don't know who he is? Where are you? From which planet are you? Who are you? He says, my name, I'm just Moshe Shmuel, Pfiffenplatzer. You ever heard of me? He says, yeah, I heard of you. You heard of me? Which planet are you from that you heard of me? Okay. He says, I work for him. And my balabas is a big Baal Chesed. Don't worry, you need money, he'll help you. He says, I know your balabas is a big Baal Chesed. How do you know? Because he hired you. Okay, anyway. So Lamaisa, to make a long story short, he gives him his money, then eats for Pesach. There's a long line of people. And this Nachum Mendel is a big Baal Mashpia. He gives everyone for Pesach. And at one point he runs into financial difficulties. No good deed goes unpunished, right? And he's mamish, he's suffering terribly. He's still trying to keep up his tzedakahs. It's very hard. He says, listen, I got to go to Paretz A, Paretz B, Paretz C, and demand my money. His wife says, no, not before Pesach. I'm very scared. Who knows what they're going to do for you? He says, I got to go. And he says, listen, people will come. You can give them up to 3 ruble a piece, okay? Even without me. And he gets out there and he tells his, what's his person's, Moshe Shmuel, Pfiffenplatzer, yes. Tells him, get the horses straight, okay? Prepare the horses, okay? I want you to, let's go, the horse got to pull the carriage. Let's go, move, we got to push the carriage. Did he say pull or push? So what did Moshe Shmuel do? He put one horse behind the carriage and one horse in front. I'm not sure that really happened, but last time I told the story in Pericles, that's how it came out. And he comes out and he sees one horse in front of the wagon, one horse behind. He goes, Moshe Shmuel! And he goes, don't scream at me! I'm so sorry. Don't you ever scream at me again! And his wife is saying, that's my husband. He's always apologizing to his workers. Okay. And they go for Lamaisa, he doesn't come back. It's right before Pesach. She's petrified. One of the pirates said, oh, I should pay you. Pulled out his gun that he's holding straight, not upside down. She's going out of her mind, and it's Erev Pesach, and this guy shows up. And he says, I need money. She says, I can give you 3 ruble. 3 ruble? What am I going to do with 3 ruble? I need money. My kids are starving. Because I can't give you more than 3 ruble. My husband is not home. It's Erev Pesach. I don't know where he is. Please. What's with you? When's the last time you ate? It's been days. When's the last time you drank? It's been days. Sit down and have something to eat or drink. Not until you give me more money. You're threatening me? You look like you're going to collapse any second. Please sit down. You got to give me more money or else I'm not eating or drinking. Finally, the horse pulls up or pushes up or whatever, and they get off. Her husband is back. Oh, you're alive. Baruch Hashem, what happened to you? What did the pirates do to you? No one physically hurt me, but they gave me a rough time. And he walked in, and this guy is there. What's with him? He looks like he's going to starve. Give him something to eat, give him something to drink. I try to give him 3 ruble. He says he's not eating or drinking till he gets how much? He wants 100 ruble. You hear? He's threatening us. You know, extortion. He's not going to eat or drink till we give him 100 ruble. And he looks at him and he says, I went through Shiva Madir Gehenna now. With the pirates collecting the money. I am not eating till you give me 100 ruble. He felt like saying, get out of here. And he said, when you have an asayan and you're down and out, don't get angry. And he pulled out 100 ruble, more than he gave anyone else, which he didn't have that year to give. And he gave it to him and said, sit down to eat. His wife said, why did you do that? Just when you're upset and you're down and out and you have an asayan, that's your opportunity. You can't lose it then. I can't lose it at him. And he eats and drinks and he's collapsing. He goes, you want to spend the night here? And he says, I need a Gemara. Okay, get him a Gemara. He goes into the guest room and he says, this person, I don't know who he is. Like, what if he's a ganef? He's like a little strange. So he decides he's going to lock him into his room. So his wife says, you can't do that. What a chas v'shalom, there's a fire. So he calls Moshe Shmuel, you need a job. You're working tonight. Working? Me? Yes. Sit here in front. You have the key. If you hear the guy getting out of his bed, quickly open the door. I don't want him to know that he's locked in. You open the door. Moshe Shmuel, you got it? Yes. If I hear him trying to get out, I lock the door. No, you unlock the door. Don't scream at me. I'm sorry. How many times did I apologize to my worker? Okay, open up. And meanwhile, Moshe Shmuel is there. He says, count on me. You go to sleep. If I hear any movement, I quickly unlock the door. Okay. And he's there. And of course, he comes back in the morning. And Moshe Shmuel is puffing away on the floor, snoring away. He goes, what are you doing? He says, he didn't come out. Look, the door's still locked. So he opens up the door, he goes in. There's nobody there. Where did he leave from? Where did he leave? So the story goes that he opened up that Gemara, and they find 100 ruble there. Where'd he go? So he runs to his Rabbi Eisgel's in the Chivs. Rabbi Eisgel tells him, listen, this was Eliyahu Hanavi, and he came to test you, and you should know from now on, there's going to be a Pesach of Bracha all over, and he became very wealthy. But let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi comes in anyways. From now till Friday morning, trust me, you are going to be tested, I'm going to be tested, Peretz is going to be tested, Ari's going to be tested, Tzvi is going to be tested. And when we say, I'm not saying how much you should give, but the equivalent of giving 100 rubles, instead of saying, you have a lot of nerve, you should know that is your Eliyahu Navi, and that is your bracha. And it's a bracha that cannot come to you any other way. Don't miss the opportunity. I say, everyone, thank you very, very much. As Hashem Yisbarach, I hope we'll still see each other this week. But for now, happy cleaning for Pesach.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.